Welcome to JMC Live. I am your host, and I want to welcome everyone to coming tonight on June 22nd, 2010. We're going to have a lot of information to try and cover today. We're going to get right into it. A lot of these articles you will find, and we are live at 8 o'clock Eastern here in Ohio. A lot of these articles that we're going to talk about tonight are already found in various websites, and we have them posted on our Eternal Flame News blogspot page. For those that want to actually follow along, you can go to eternalflamenews.blogspot.com. The first story that we're going to actually talk about is one that's really close to my heart. Missions is something you probably, if you listen to the Stacey Harp Active Christian Media interview that I did on the 17th of this month, you'll find out more about my heart for the world, and just to want to reach out to help other people. But to get right into this, here's what's going to happen. Christian movement is happening in Asia's 1040 window. This was originally posted on christianpost.com, and here in the western side of the world, you know, the U.S. and even possibly Australia and other places, they don't really talk a lot about Asia's 1040 window on a common ground. There is a pastor, his name is Jason Ma. He's got a documentary film called 1040. It takes you on a journey through all the Asian countries in the 1040 latitude longitude, 10 degrees and 40 degrees north latitude, with the core of the world's unreached people. Christians are very commonplace to know about the 1040 window for quite a long time. But as of right now, the world's largest church is there, and the Christian population seems to be booming amidst a Muslim influence. And there's over 100 million believers in China's communist rule as of today. This isn't just something yesterday. About 100 years ago, Christians made up less than 1% of the population in South Korea. Today, the largest church in the world, Judeo Full Gospel Church, has nearly 1 million members located in South Korea. Indonesia, the world's most populous Muslim country, local church leaders say more than 20% of the population is Christian. But here in the U.S., they say only about 10%. And in China, the Christian population grew from about 1 million to more than 100 million in about 50 years. This documentary is supposed to reach out to those that are struggling with their own faith, want to know how to get more connected to, Asian countries. I know a lot of people, when they hear about the 1040 window, you might have a missionary come to your church. I've gone to churches and spoke about my trip to South Africa, and I've mentioned the 1040 window before, and I've shown statistics about what God is doing and how God is actually transforming things. But the most amazing thing that I've seen that God is doing is what He's doing in China. In spite of the storms and conflicts of people's daily lives, God seems to come in and invade a country, a communist country. And for those of you who don't know what communist means, communist is a form of government where it is a tyrannical type control. They barely get paid. They have to do as they said. And in China, you're only allowed to have a certain amount of kids. They look more prone on having men than they do women. And it's real scary, the things that are happening. I sit here and see time and time again, you hear about Christians that are going to South Korea, and they're sneaking into China and North Korea, and are even going to Indonesia, and they're having to smuggle Bibles. Did you hear what I said, folks? They're having to bring in Bibles that are pretty much covered in duct tape or burlap, and they're hidden within a regular text, and they're having to do this. Why? Because Christianity and communist today, China, can put you in jail. Do you know that these people actually have to meet in their church homes? Do you know what? Here in the United States, I've heard in California, I've heard in Florida, Texas, Ohio, New York, Georgia, and even Colorado, the states that I've been at and ministered in. Oh, I can't have small groups, or I can't do that. I just don't want to have anything to do with that. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. It's just not for me. Well, what if I told you that if you were in China, that's the only way. The only way you can talk about what God's doing. You know, these people, as the person in the chat is saying, they are risking their lives daily. On Voice of the Martyrs, there's a blog that talks about a pastor that got arrested. He had one of these church homes. Kind of like, you know, my show. I'm doing it from my home. And I have people come and they call and we talk and we do all this stuff going on. You know what the most amazing thing is about these people though, folks? Is that, and like I just said, in spite of the persecution, you know, for the fact that God is not welcome in China. God is not looked upon. We don't want nothing to do with you. If you're going to talk about God, you're going to be arrested. You're going to be killed. Just the other day, I saw a higher elect Muslim woman speaking on Al Jazeera saying that I command all, you know, men and women to rape all the Christian women and rape all the Christian men. This was a woman telling other men and women to rape people. This is serious. And here's the thing that you have to realize as well, is that God is opening up the doors in China for more people to hear about Christ. But look what's happening here in America. You know, God's been taken out of school. Praying in public is now known as a moment of silence. At your job, you may have possibly a moment of silence. And the problem is here in America is we've run into this situation where we become stagnant. Now the Word of God clearly states that you are either hot or cold. This is in the book of Revelation. You're either hot or cold, or I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. America, 50 years from now, could look just like China. You don't believe me? Look what happened to Africans. Not African Americans, but Africans that were slaves brought to America. What happened to them? What happened to Mexicans in the wars within Texas and California or Spain? People have died in America. The Native Americans. Things have happened here in the States. And history can repeat itself if we're not careful. We'll return. We'll be right back.